Go down. Get somebody. Go down. Get somebody. Go down.
Welcome to another Doggone Podcast here at the CEC Studios. I'm your host, Mike the Mad Dog. This episode is sponsored by Wolfman Muffler. And coming back for the third time as our guest is the former head coach of Kent State. Hello, how you doing there, Mr. Pete Cordelli?
I'm doing great, Mad Dog. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm actually excited that you come back. I mean, this is the third time. If you come back again, we'll get you a free set of steak knives or something.
Third time's a charm is what they tell everybody, right?
Yeah, I want to go ahead and jump right into this. It seems like this whole season, Georgia has been through kind of an identity crisis. Like they didn't really know who they were as a team, and they were developing themselves along the way. And then the Mississippi State game happened. And as much as I would like to think that they could move on from there and still stay consistent, I'm wondering your opinion, has this team finally found its identity?
It's working there. They're not there yet, but everything got solidified or started making more progress when all of the offensive linemen got healthy. And now we've seen those guys really do a great job with gap run schemes. Man, that off tackle play that they just killed Mississippi State with from the second quarter on was tremendous. Protection's gotten better, and Gunner's playing with a lot more confidence. I mean, his deep ball is amazing, and Colby Young, my goodness, he's something. I mean, that guy can catch it along with Branch. So things are starting to progress. And then Gunner is so poised in the moment and making big plays. So it was great to see everything come together for the second, third, and fourth quarter in Starkville and just have a dominating performance on the road, which is Starkville's a tough place to play. All those cowbells and Jeff Levy and, you know, what they were going to do, because Levy and Josh Heupel were, you know, they were on the same staff, so you figured the up-tempo was going to get going. But, man, it was fun to see C.J. Allen early in the game get pressure. And so kind of set the tone, and Georgia's not a big blitz team, but, man, they got a lot of pressure on that Mississippi State quarterback. And then the offense just took off and kept getting better as the game went on. So it's going to be fun to watch this Georgia team at home, national TV, against the Texas Longhorns Saturday night.
Yeah, speaking of which, about that game, Texas comes in, I think they're like second in the nation in, stopping the run, and Georgia likes to run the ball. Can they win this football game coming up Saturday just using Gunner Stockton's arm?
No. And, Georgia hasn't done that all year, just using his arm until it was needed, in Knoxville. The touchdown, and then the 2-point conversion. Gunner's been really good under pressure. And that's a credit to Mike Bobo. The play calls at the critical times give your team an opportunity to have success, and then you finish the play. And that's what's happened. But Texas is number one in the Southeastern Conference in rush defense. They're giving up 78 yards a game rushing. They're number 2 in the country, like you said. But I just got to believe that this Georgia offensive line is looking forward to this challenge. And you're going to see 12 personnel, obviously 1 back, 2 tight ends. You may see some 13 with 3 tight ends. And you really might see it when they go heavy and bring an extra tackle in the game and just load up and say, all right, you're coming to our house. Not so fast, boys. We're going to knock you back and create a new line of scrimmage on your side. And let's get Nate Frazier going downhill.
Yeah, you brought up the tight ends. There's a tight end that I'm kind of high on right now, and Elyiss Williams, that kid. that catch he made during the Mississippi State game, it
Yep.
was amazing. And then the block he had right after that
Yep.
catch, which allowed them to score. I mean, he's got an incredible a lot of potential. Kirby mentioned during the press conference afterwards that they keep wanting to put him on the scout team, but he said he wants him to play. He thinks he's a weapon, and he doesn't want to lose him. And that goes back to just recruiting your own players again because of NIL. He doesn't want to see this kid go anywhere but the state of Georgia. So, I mean, I'm very high on him. What are your thoughts on how he could be a big key in this game as well?
There's no doubt because of his length. I mean, when he went up and high pointed that ball on the left sideline, I mean, that was a tremendous because the ball was actually thrown a little bit behind him. So when he turned, but when he extended, oh my gosh, I thought we were looking at the second coming of Wilt Chamberlain. I mean that catch radius just went out of the building, and there's not a DB that can stay with him. And down in the red zone, especially when you get inside the 5-yard line, quarterbacks are taught on a route that's either from the goal line to 5 yards deep, you throw the ball from the waist down. Here's why. If your guy doesn't catch it, it goes into the ground. It's not going to get tipped up. All right. So you teach receivers like a shortstop or an infielder in baseball. Bend your knees, sink your hips, bring your arms up under and scoop the ball on a low throw and then protect it. Anything from 5-6 yards deep in the end zone to the back line, you call it a headshot. You throw it up to the receiver's head and then let him go up and out jump. We see you got mossed. What the ESPN calls the Randy Moss deal. You just go up and out jump folks. So when you teach quarterbacks and receivers goal line passing game, goal line to 5 yards, the ball is going to be low, where the only guy that can get it is you or the ground. 6 yards to 10 yards, you throw it up high and you let those guys go up. And that's why you'll see linebackers turning late and the ball is thrown right over the linebacker's head and your receiver goes up and it's a headshot. So when you have a tight end like this, man, that creates a lot of mismatches in that end zone. And on the scramble drill, when the quarterback's going back and forth, you get those guys to mirror him and you throw it up and he creates an opening for himself. But the other thing and I understand where Kirby's coming from because most young guys can play 4 games without having to burn a redshirt year. So now it's critical that he plays because even in this era of NIL, the core of your football team is still going to be on campus. Nobody is doing the Belichickian thing at Chapel Hill and bringing in 70 new guys. You're not bringing that many at Georgia. There aren't many teams in the SEC that are bringing 70 new guys. How many can you play? I'm so tired of hearing that number. We brought 70 new guys. Yeah, and you got your ass kicked. All right. It's not about who you bring or how many you bring. It's about who can get it done. Kirby knows Georgia's always done a great job in recruiting young players. And now you got to get them involved in the rotation and go, look, we need you here. Here's what we brought you for. And that's what we saw on Saturday in Starkville. And that's why he's going to play more against Texas on Saturday and down the road. I mean, Charlotte and Tech. So these 4 games, these next 3 games are going to be big for those young guys.
Yeah. Well, on the other side of the ball, I mean, Arch Manning's coming in and he's actually starting to play a little bit better. And should that be concerning for Georgia fans, or do they think he might regress during this game, or what should we expect with that?
Here's my take on Arch. He plays really well at home in Austin. On the road, they've lost to Ohio State 14-7. He didn't have a great game. Florida, they got beat by Florida. They had to go to overtime to beat Kentucky 16-13. They had to go to Starkville and go to overtime and win 45-38. And then even in the fourth quarter against Vanderbilt, it was 34-10 going into the fourth quarter. They gave up 21 points. So It was 34-21. Arch, he's doing some things okay, but that offensive line is not very good. Look, Georgia beat the living tar out of Texas last year, and it started up front. And I had a guy who was on the sideline for both games tell me, said, Coach, they wanted none of us. They didn't want anything from this Georgia defensive front. And you know what? They broke their will. Right now, out of 136 teams in Division I football, Texas's pressure rate, they rank 122nd in giving up pressure. That's in Texas.
Yeah.
And now you get Georgia, and I promise you, C.J. Allen, Raylan Wilson, I mean, they are licking their chops. They can't wait, because I don't believe Texas is a very good team on the road. And when you're trying to build depth and build your team, the confines of home, that's nice. But if you're going to win a championship, you got to win it on the road, because guess what? Nobody plays playoff games at home anymore.
No, not at all.
You're on the road. And I just think it's like we see Georgia every week. First quarter, it's like a boxing match. You know, they're feeling each other out. And then once Kirby hones in on something, Mike Bobo hones in on something, look out. The floodgates are going to open. And I just think Georgia at home, did I read this right? The blackout game? They're going to.
I mean, they could. They're going to try to. I mean, they're not going to wear black jerseys. Kirby's not going to allow that. He doesn't do that. But yeah, the fans, yeah.
But I think
fans are going to try to black them out. It's going to be a night game. The whole place is going to be ridiculous. It's going to fireworks are going to be going off. It's going to be crazy.
And you know what? The Georgia guys have been looking forward to this for a while. So all you got to be is 1-0 on Saturday night at midnight in Athens, and everybody's going to be happy.
Well, yeah, you were talking about he's not very good on the road, Arch Manning, but, I mean, Gunner doesn't seem to be phased on the road at all. Like, it's so amazing to me how Gunner, he keeps getting better at, each game that he plays. I mean, talk about, his evolution as a player since the beginning of the year.
There's a term that I use a lot with quarterbacks. It's an acronym, KYP. Know your personnel. Getting Zachariah Branch in from Southern Cal and these new receivers and Gunner with new linemen and things. He now, in Mike Bobo's offensive scheme, he's figured out that when I move the launch point, what I mean by that is you're not standing directly behind the center in protection. You're sprinting out right, half rolling boot. You're doing different things so that the defense can't get a beat on you. He knows who he can count on up front protection-wise. Man, I tell you what, Frazier the other night stepped up and took on a blitzing linebacker from Mississippi State and just absolutely hammered. He stoned him. I mean, bam, it was stopped right at the line of scrimmage. And that's important for a quarterback to be able to step into the throw so that the pressure isn't coming back in your face and you can only half short arm it, like a baseball pitcher short arming a throw. Quarterbacks have to be able to take that step, transfer weight, and drive the football to their target. Gunner is seeing that now with the protection and his backs being in there and picking up the blitz, which allows him to throw on rhythm. His timing has been excellent, but he's starting to understand his personnel. He knows who's going to burst at the top of the route and create separation to get open so I can lead him. Or who's the guy that's going to get his body between the defender and the ball and just post him up and I can put the ball right on his numbers. And that comes from repetition. And now in November, they've got it down pretty good. So I think the passing game is getting a lot better because of the work that they've put in with each other. But Gunner's confidence, knowing that you're protected, that's a pretty good darn feeling.
Yeah, I do know that. There was one time he took a hit. I think it was during that play that he threw to Noah Thomas. He took a hit right afterwards and still popped right back up, ran out there, and it helped him celebrate the touchdown in the end zone. I mean, Gunner's tough. Now, I don't want to push that to the limit and say that I want him to get hurt, but Gunner can take a hit, and it surprises me how he just bounces right back up after the hit.
Mike, to me, the mark of a great. The term great is used too much these days. A great quarterback to me is a guy who can make a consistent throw under duress with accuracy, knowing you're going to get hit. There's a guy coming free, but I got to stand in there and make this throw. Gunner, from the way he was raised in high school, playing for Kirby's dad. I mean, those guys up there at Raymond Gap, man, that taught him how to be tough, the way he was brought up. And now you're seeing a Warriors mentality perform at quarterback for Georgia, and that's Gunner Stockton. And the more pressure that people think is going on, the greater Gunner responds. It's what Diego Pavia has done for Vanderbilt football. Gunner Stockton's doing the same thing for Georgia football. Look, man, I just go back to that drive in Knoxville on the road early in the year.
Yeah.
And they come out with the win. I mean, how many times has Gunner been put under the gun and gotten it done? I mean, and that's the mark of a great quarterback. He's got a chance to lead this team. I think this team's going to get better. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Or are they peaking at the right time? Is that what you're saying? You think they're peaking at the right time toward the end of the season to the playoffs? Kind of like, I hate to say it, what Ohio State did last year. Like Ohio State came out of nowhere in the playoffs.
Oh, no doubt.
And then once I saw that game against Tennessee, I knew nobody was beating them.
Oh, I mean,
and, so, I mean, it just seems like, they struggled all year. They're trying to figure things out, their identity, they don't know what's going on. And then finally, right here at the end, they're peaking, they hit the playoffs, and they could just take off.
I'm going to use a baseball analogy here. I've been a Los Angeles Dodger fan all my life because a guy my dad played baseball with and grew up with was a coach for the Dodgers for 20 years. So I follow the Dodgers a lot. They win the World Series this year in an unbelievable finish. And yet the headlines is the payroll of the Dodgers ruining baseball. Guess what? Doesn't matter how much you pay them. Those guys still have to perform. You still have to get it done. Game's on the line. Will Smith, home run, they get it done. I mean, Rojas, game 6, you still get it done. College football with NIL, everybody wants to talk about, well, will they spend this on this better? Players still have to get it done. No matter, it's not about money. It's about who has the warrior mentality to say, I'm not going to be denied. And that's what Kirby has instilled in this team. There's always somebody we're not thinking about during the week, like the young tight end, right? Who was talking about him last week? Nobody. Comes up big. There's always somebody. I mean, the defensive lineman a couple of weeks ago knocks a pass down. Is it Horton?
Yeah.
I mean, the cat's on a twist move. He's at a 3 technique. They run a TE, a tackle in stunt. He comes around, puts his hand up, and tips the ball away. I mean, you got guys that they aren't your stars. Well, man, they're getting better on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in practice because when you go good against good at this level and this time of year, now is when you have to start playing your best football. They are getting better at the right time, Mike.
We talked about this before we came on here. We were talking about the SEC championship game and how you thought that Texas A&M and Alabama are probably going to play in it. Now, to me, I don't want Georgia anywhere near that game. I would much rather have them start off in the playoffs, and I think it would benefit this team. Talk to me about, what the benefits would be if Georgia didn't play in the SEC championship.
You get healthy, and you actually get another week of preparation for your first round opponent. It's going to be a night game in Athens. They're going to host the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we're talking about the atmosphere this Saturday night. Let's triple that, quadruple that. Let's go 10X on it. A first round playoff game in Athens. Wow. Plus, you're getting healthy. You have extra time to prepare. So I just think that whoever loses in the SEC championship game is going to have to go right to the next week and play in the first round, where the champion's going to get a bye. So, because you're one of the top 4 rated teams. So I think this week off is good. I really do. I know Notre Dame last year, they beat Indiana at home, but I think that extra game, and when they got into the championship game, they felt the effects of that. They were a little worn down. They were a little worn down. It's a grind now, as we know. I mean, 12 games is a grind, but then you got the championship game. That's the 13th game. Then you get right into the playoffs. That extra rest. That's why the NFL, these teams are all playing to win their conference or win their divisions, and they want that first round bye so they can get healthy, get rested up. Because right now, I mean, November 12th, everybody in America is sore.
Yeah.
You have to distinguish between pain and injury, baby. But guess what? Come Saturday, it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, I mean, yeah, it seems like the teams don't have as much depth as they used to because of NIL. And, Kirby used to stack 5 stars on top of 5 stars. If somebody went down, okay, bring the next guy in here. It was really no big deal. I mean, it was a big deal that the kid got hurt, but I'm saying it was no big deal as a team overall because he brought another kid in that could fill the gap and everything was fine. Now you just don't have that depth. And now they talk about, why Mississippi State scoring those what I call garbage time touchdowns at the end of the game. Well, Kirby said, I'd rather throw these second and third string people in and let them get some playing time, even if they let them score on them, because I don't know when I'm going to have to put them in, and they need the experience of playing.
I used to tell my players all the time, yeah, there's a starter out there, but whoever's behind him, you're one play away from being on the field. You have to mentally think like a starter, because you never know when your opportunity's coming. Or if we build up a big lead, I want to play other guys. You came here to play. Earn the right to play. And that comes through practice. But the one thing coaches and players can't control is injury. That's why you always have to be thinking. And you're watching. When you're on offense, watch that guy out there in front of you, your position. When you're on defense, same thing. What are they doing? How are we reacting? So you have to stay mentally involved. That's why you hear coaches say, well, the mental reps are so important. Yeah, they really are, because you're one play away from being on that field. And the last thing you want to do is be unprepared and let your team down.
Well, that's true. I can't even imagine the pressure. Even a backup quarterback sitting there, watching all the reps, seeing everything that's happened, and then you see, like, think about it. Puglisi's got to watch Gunner get hit, and then once he sees that, he's like, oh, you're wondering if he thinks, is he down? And he goes, oh, he popped back up, because part of him, even though he wants to get out there and play, part of him is like, this on me now. Now I've got to go win this game. Kind of like what Gunner did last year, the SEC championship when Beck went out. Like but he rose to the challenge. There's not, I've seen, like you said, I've seen quarterbacks that get a lot of NIL money, come in, they have a lot of hype, everything's great, and they get on the field and they're deer in headlights. They don't know what to do. The shot clock goes down to 3, and they don't know what to do. It happens a lot.
I'm going to tell you a story about an NFL quarterback. Going to the Super Bowl. When you're going to the Super Bowl, that first week you practice at your home facility, right? Get everything going. And then the team goes a week before. The head coach of this team, he had scripted the first 15, 18 plays. And every day in practice, this young guy, this quarterback, man, boom, 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 boom. He had it right. When this team got ready to get on the plane, they were like feeling really good because this quarterback had such a great week of practice. They get to the Super Bowl site. They start practice. He's picked up right where he left off. Boom, boom, boom. They get into the game. Mike, first 4 plays that this guy has practiced for 2 weeks every day. First 4 plays. He had a mental error on all 4. He had a mental error on first down, second down, third down. First down of the next series, he throws an interception because of the wrong read. And the head coach is like, what is going on? They ended up, this team who was the favorite, ended up getting beat by 14 points because this quarterback put him in such a hole. This is an NFL guy blowing it. So that's why, man, you mentally better be ready to roll. But when the game's on the line, who can get it done? Gunner Stockton's a guy that can get it done.
Yeah, Kirby said, during the interview, I think I sent you the video too, that, being a good quarterback, everybody always talks about it, the physical attributes, and he thinks 80 to 90% of it is what's going on between your ears.
Well,
and,
we always evaluate our number one criteria for evaluating quarterbacks is decision making.
Yes.
Not arm strength, not decision making. And here's why. You talk to other position guys like running backs, receivers, tight ends about protecting the football, and goes, oh yeah, 3 points of pressure, index, finger, elbow, ribs, ball goes up. What's the quarterback's ball security? Don't throw it into coverage.
Yeah.
If there's 2 white jerseys around a red jersey, he's double covered. If there's 3, he's triple covered. I don't need to know that you have this gun that can zip it in between defenders and them tip it and everything else. If nothing's there, the sideline hasn't missed a tackle in 100 years of football. Throw it out of bounds. Let's live to play the next play. It's like quarterbacks that get down. Every team has a kick line where their field goal kicker, they feel good about. If you can get the ball, let's say to the 28-yard line. The other team's 28. All right, the end zone's 10, that's 38. Then the holders at 7. That's a 45-yard field goal, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get to the 28, we got 3 on the board. Don't throw it into coverage. We don't need the great throw to make the touchdown in the end zone and have it picked off when we got 3 points on the board. You got to know the time, the score, the situation. So for a quarterback, ball security is don't throw it to the other team. I mean, look, DJ Lagway threw 3 interceptions the other night, right? But then he's had multiple games like that. I can remember one time when I was playing for Coach Holtz back in 1973. We were playing somebody, and we had gotten 4 interceptions. And this reporter asked Coach Holtz, said, Coach, what would you have done if so-and-so would have thrown 4 interceptions? He said, it would have never happened. He said, what do you mean? The reporter said, what do you mean? He said, it never happened. He said, because after the second one, his ass is over with me on the bench. He never plays again.
Yeah.
He can't protect the ball. I mean, that's where in-game coaching is so valuable. You have to know who's got it that day and who doesn't. That's why I think Kirby and Bobo and this staff, Schumann, they've been around each other so long. They know what the adjustments are and what to go to. If these players will just listen, Kirby's going to put these guys in the right position to have success and win. That's Georgia football. That was Nick Saban football.
Yeah. Well, Kirby said, I mean, they've talked about, this team beat. So I think a reporter misspoke, said this team beat Texas, twice last year. He said, this team hasn't done anything. This team hasn't beat Texas. This is a totally different team. And I say this every year. It doesn't matter if you have the same personnel. Every year, it seems like the team takes on a completely different personality.
Yep.
And this team, like I said, I thought they were going through an identity crisis. I don't know if they know who they are yet, but I hope they figure it out, especially when it comes to the playoffs.
Mike, I got to apologize. I used some language I shouldn't have. I apologize for that.
Oh, look.
No. But you're exactly right. It's like we won the national championship in 1988 at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So we get into August practice before the 89 season, and a guy's asking me, he said, Coach, how do you feel about defending? And I said, stop right there. We're not defending anything. This team is a totally different team than the 88 team. We're trying to set a standard. And we have to be the best we can be. 88 is gone. We're not defending anything. And these teams that we're playing, they have different personnel. We have different personnel. You have to go out and establish a whole new standard. And you have to, 1 week at a time, 1-0, and every week get better. Early on, this Georgia team struggled with some things and they had a bunch of injuries early, as you well know. But right now, this is as healthy as this team has been. And they're anxious to show the rest of the country Saturday night with Texas coming in. They can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that does stay the same with each team that Kirby's had is the culture. He tries to get the same culture. Now,
Yes.
how all the personnel reacts to the culture is what gives them the personality that makes them different. But the culture has not changed since Kirby's gotten there. He has been preaching that culture, and that's the culture that's got him back-to-back natties.
When your seniors or your older players are playing the best football of their career, they set the standard for the younger guys. Because if those younger guys don't live up to it, your senior leadership will have a little heart-to-heart with them in the locker room or somewhere off campus away from the building and go, look, you're not coming in here and doing that kind of stuff that's going to get us beat. Because we win here, you're costing me money, not only here, but on the next level. And that's what the culture's become now. Look at how many Georgia players are in the NFL. They're not putting up with guys getting crazy in the locker room and doing stuff. Your leadership, and I always had a leadership council. 2 seniors, 2 juniors, 2 sophomores, 2 freshmen, 2 redshirt. And I'd eat breakfast with them every Thursday morning. And I'd say, guys, this isn't about football. This is about our team. Who is it that's maybe struggling with girlfriend broke up with them? Mom is sick. They've got some issues going on off field that they really don't want to talk. Who can I talk? How do we get so-and-so back? What's going on? And I'll tell you what, I said, you guys, you seniors are responsible for the seniors. Juniors responsible for the juniors. Class is responsible for class. Help your guys out. And you didn't have to be a starter to be on the leadership council. But when we voted for it, I found out who had great respect for these guys. And they carried a very strong voice in that locker room. Kirby's done that in Athens for years. Nick did that at Alabama. You'll find that these teams that are having success, it's like you said, the culture that they've built, they've given some of the ownership back to these players. Coaches can't be with these guys all the time. But the players, you never fool them. They know who they can trust, and all relationships are built on trust.
That's right. If you hold each other accountable, I mean,
Exactly.
you're going to be successful. Like you said, they can't be around each other all the time, but his buddy's going to be there with him all the time.
Oh yeah, and he can say, "Hey, look, dude, don't do anything that's going to embarrass me or our team or get us in trouble. What, come on." And look, they're young kids. Guys are going to make poor decisions. But just because you make a bad decision doesn't mean you're a bad person. That's why Saban will always talk about giving guys second chances. I've always believed in that. We're a culture, or the culture I was used to give guys a chance to, it's forgiveness. It's forgiveness. We'll forgive you, but you can't do it again. And here's why. You show guys how to overcome the mistakes. And that's where you develop young men into making better decisions so they can see the error of their ways, but don't let it happen again. And that's why you always have to have an open line of communication with your guys.
Well, Coach, I appreciate your time coming on here today. I mean, I
enjoy
always enjoy. I could talk to you for a long time, but we have to wrap this thing up. And I like I said. And by the way, I like your shirt.
Thank you
I
so
like
much. I got to get it back to the shop before midnight, or I turn into a pumpkin.
Oh, come on.
Hey, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Cal and Illini. When did we get Big Ten helmets in this?
You know what? They decorate this thing, and but listen, I appreciate them doing it.
Oh, no question. But hey, you do a great job. All the folks there do a great job, and I'm just happy to be on with you, man. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it, and I appreciate your time. I hope we will get you back on here again, especially after maybe Georgia makes the playoffs. We'll talk about it then. Listen, I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of Another Doggone Podcast. We'd like to thank the folks at Wolfman Muffler, actually, for sponsoring this episode. This has been an episode of Another Doggone Podcast, and doggone it, I'm out.